Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Damn, I did that in reverse order. This intro thing's not going so well. Anyway, never mind. So we have another build log video, which is absolutely massively late, but whatever. I've gotten over the cold I had in the last one, which only lasted like 3 days or something, and I'm doing good today. So I think we'll just go through a few of the things I got. Technically, these have been sort of very wishy-washy in the times that they came, but you know, this is meant to be kind of like September's video, even though it's October. Sorry. So let's just go through them in no particular order. I think we'll start off with this thing on the bottom right. So, what have we got? First of all, I'll just show you the RAM I got. The other RAM, as mentioned in the last video, was RMA'd, and we do have the right RAM here. It's actually not so bad. This is 16 gigabytes of 2400 megahertz RAM, 2 8 gig sticks. Got myself some Crucial ballistics. Very cheap. Something like 85 or 86 pounds, something like that. But good quality RAM nonetheless. Okay, so put that down. The next thing, I've got myself a new card reader. Now, you might think, well, didn't you have a card reader in the other machine? Yes, but there's the thing about those card readers, as I wanted one with USB 3. And for some reason, I don't know why, a lot of the card readers you do see are actually USB 2 still. It took a while to actually find one that was genuine USB 3. Oh, but I put it in a surround that I bought a while ago. I don't know if I ever showed you that one. So yeah, I've definitely checked this one out, because when I did some modifications, which I'll talk about later on, I noticed that the chip inside, after looking at it, was a genuine USB 3 controller chip. So this is genuine USB 3. So yeah, had to pay £17 for that. Never mind. Anyway, fast transfers abound. Also, not really a critical item, but it's still pretty important to the build, or well, important to me, is a USB 3 hub. I used to have a hub years ago on the desk, but I stopped using it, which makes me wonder why I bought one now. But anyway, I did. The cable I got with it originally was a bit of a piddly little thing, so I just bought like a 2-meter cable. It does me fine. Totally messing everything up. What's the next item? Let's have a look. Ah, yes. This little thing would seem to be pretty insignificant, and it is. Well, the price wasn't. I paid nearly £30 for this and then discovered it on Amazon later, even after I'd searched for it for about 19 quid with free post. Yeah. What this little thing does, this actually converts anything that has a standard sort of SATA connector into a USB. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the board, it's limited anyway, the number of ports it has. But I don't really want to use one of those high-speed ports on an optical drive, because I have got an optical drive in this build. Many people may question that, but I'll probably go over that later if I can remember. And basically, well, this converts it. Enough said, pretty much. But what a price for such an insignificant thing. Ow. Proper burned. Anyway. So, the next item on our list is something that's quite important at the moment. This is, if my camera will focus, what does it need to? I don't know. Arctic Silver 5, some of the best thermal paste in the land for the new chip. Oh, zoom out. I got the big tube just in case I decide to do a few replacements, or any of the projects that require thermal paste. Just means I don't have to buy any more. This should come in very handy. Well, yeah, of course it will, Stephen. Of course it does. Cut. So after that slightly bungled kind of review of the thermal paste, even though it wasn't really a review, never mind. Okay, next item, which is kind of small but still rather useful, is this USB backing plate I got. Just to kind of expand the functionality of the motherboard. Just might as well use all the ports I got available to it. It's like ports on headers and things, so I decided to use this one. Would have got a 4-port plate, except the 2 of the USB 2s are doing other things in the case. Like one goes to the power supply, and the other one goes to the optical drive. So that's kind of where that one's gone. Another item as well, which is kind of has a reason behind getting it, is this thing. This is actually a USB Type-C. You see the reversible connector there, to a standard USB socket. The new motherboard comes with a USB 3.1 socket on the back, but will I hell be told I have to stick some kind of device in there? I'm not wasting a port due to that stupid connector. Why are they putting that on motherboards? I have no idea. Anyway, that sort of brings it back and that makes it more usable. And last but not least is this little guy. Just get it out the packet. This is my new SSD, and it is none other than the SM951. I'd seen these, and these were the kind of SSDs that were really fast, but really rare in the sense that it was difficult to get hold of them. Well, obviously somebody's found a supply chain somewhere, because there's actually loads on scan.co.uk if you want to get one. This SSD can pump out 2 gigabytes a second. This model can, at least the 256 gig. Really pleased to have one of these, and I gotta say, it's actually smaller in person than I thought it was actually going to be. I'd seen pictures of it on the web and hadn't appreciated how small it is. And that thing is going to absolutely scream. Slight problems with it, if they can call this a problem, is that it's very difficult to get installed, someone says. You have to do lots of fiddly things in the BIOS, and then somehow you manage to get this installed. I don't know. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but that is really good. So, yeah. We'll just go over a couple of other things. There's not much really to talk about in this build, at least not as much, because, yes, we have actually ordered the CPU. It's going to be coming, I don't know when, probably another week left. Once that arrives, we are literally ready to build. So, let's go through a couple of things to that card reader that I mentioned. On the subject of the card reader, just a little thing here. Just some experimentation. See, I got this card reader. It's by Optical. Whoops, reflection. Very good manufacturer of peripherals, cables and all manner of other PC based things. I modified it a little bit. Now this surround was like a cheap, I don't know, £2 surround from somebody on Amazon, some Chinese seller, which I just put this into, but I've modified it. You see, originally this card reader would have come with like a shroud to make it longer. Initially I took that off, and that's when the lid came off, and I found out it was genuine USB 3, which I was relieved about, because I got really tired of looking at card readers that were sort of USB 3 with a port on the front, but then they sort of lied about it because they actually weren't USB 3, they were just USB 2 on the card reader portion. This has everything you need, but also the cable arrangement inside the PC is kind of interesting. And also what I noticed, it has this odd arrangement, I'll just get the cable, hang on, where, let's push that over there, I'm getting my messy desk again. It's kind of, well, that's the header as normal, but the actual thing connects in the back of it with a USB type A connector. That's kind of bizarre. Although, what I found was, this originally had a USB 3 socket on the front. I was just like, it's a bit of a waste really, considering my case has a door on it, and this is just going to be wasted. So I've modified it to actually remove this, and all it was just attached to the board on the inside via this sort of connector with just holes through it. So what I decided to do was I'm going to have to create some kind of arrangement where I put the cable for the USB hub through the case in an empty space and connect this up directly. So I just feel it would be like a much more worthwhile use of the port, seeing as like I'm trying not to waste a high-speed port here. This one would have just been sitting in the front of the case doing absolutely nothing. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase a socket and either drill into the case, which I would rather not do, or I have another idea which I'll just go over a bit later. So I can actually do something in this video, and I feel like I want to, because all I've done is basically said, hey, look what I've got this time round. I feel like I want to attach something to the board. So I've got the board out, as you can see. It's on its bag, I suppose is the best idea. And we're going to install this thing. Okay, so in the motherboard we actually got this little screw thing. And, whoa, hang on, dropped it. Get in there. Yeah, so you've got to put that standoff thing in there first, and then the little screw. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so I've got the camera set up after some kind of fashion. I do kind of realise it's a bit awkward, but I'm going to stand up for this because I have a limited space to do this. God, I should have prepared these parts before I did anything. Oh, and I bumped the camera. How amazing. Right, so this is an 80 centimetre. No, sorry, 80 millimetre. That one. Yep. First of all, we screw that in. That's the standoff. That's pretty much it. If I remember from all of these, you put it in at an angle. Then you put the screw in. This could be where I lose the screw. but hopefully not. Oh. Oh, cut. Okay, so I also had to click this in a bit because it wasn't, but and that would be in. So yeah. Splendid! So that's it all packed back into its protective condom with the SSD down there. Stay tight, my pretty. Yes, anyway, so this will be done next month. I want to take a look at the case because I want to see if my idea is going to work. So I just got the case out again. I just want to have a look at these things because I have a hunch or a certain idea with these, although I'm not sure if it might work. You see, what I'm planning to do is put an extra port in the back here somewhere. Suppose I could puncture this area, but I don't really want to harm the case. Although there are these water cooling holes. Maybe I could do something with one of those. But these, I had an idea with these plates down here. Perhaps we could punch some holes through that and do something with the extra port. What do you think? Having said that, there's like a mystery hole at the back of the case here. So, I mean, the USB port will more than fit into there. And perhaps it'll still be able to be secured at either side with a screw. But let's try the plate method first, because I mean these plates are disposable anyway. So I've just gotten one of these things out the back of the case, which would be removed anyway, and it does look like my idea may work. It's got holes in it, and I've just taken apart the back plate for the USB socket. These things could potentially be secured in the back. I mean, just sizing it up, I'll just have a look there. The spacing of the holes could work. I could literally snip out that little bit of metal there, maybe file the edges down a bit, and there you've got a ready-made backplate. Now people should say, well, why'd you buy another one of these? Well, I could do, although I don't want to buy an entire cable, you know, to go on the back of like a well, actually not even a cable, one of these things. I'm gonna have to buy this cable anyway, and I've found some USB versions of this on eBay. So there's the cable I'd be looking at. It basically goes from one of these, which would then plug into the socket of the cable that would go into the... It's extending it, except that's got one of those things on there which got the lugs you can screw into the back of the plate, so one of those will do just fine. It's going to be a simple enough thing to do. I mean, it'll just mean I've got an external port, rather than sort of screwing with the case. I mean, I don't know if it'll arrive in time. If it does, great. If it doesn't, I'll just put it through that hole I found on the outside of the thing. But yeah, this is a potentially good way to do it. Since I don't know if anyone sells these things separately, and I'd have to buy that anyway. Yeah, so it's a little bit of more modification. Exciting, eh? Well, as proof of concept, that actually worked very nicely, so all I have to do is get a file and a pair of pliers, or, well, not pliers, wire cutters, and maybe a few, like, maybe the multi-tool would actually do a better job of that. Yeah, anyway, whatever. And once that's done, ready-made USB port. Okay, I thought we'd just get a closer look at what's in this box. This is the interface converter that converts from SATA to USB 3. I think we might need to just get a better angle on this, but maybe we can just do it this way. So in the box you get a cable, which I won't be using because it takes over the entire header, but I've got a solution for this. And this is the thing itself. That board right there cost me nearly £30. I hope it's worth it. Essentially, you could almost make an interface out of this for any hard drive as well, 3.5 inch or otherwise. But we might as well just install this since it's sitting around, and it means I can put at least one more box away. Alright, so there's the optical drive all the way down there. Now we've got the interesting task of trying to put that in. I'm not even going to remotely bother filming this, as this is going to be just full of swearing and whatnot, so yes, catch you up when I put it in. There we go, quick and relatively painless, so that's going to go in there. Now I've just done some thinking about this, and I've realised I've shot myself in the foot. I'll just explain a little about what's going on. I have one of these sort of header things. I've just removed the plate, by the way, to demonstrate something, which expands the USB ports. But I bought another one because of the arrangement of the headers on the inside. Initially, I bought this little sort of... Well, it's a mistake. It was this little sort of header splitter, because you know how headers have 2 ports on them. One would go to here, and then the other one would go to the power supply, which has like smart kind of power stuff going on. It means I could use both ports on separate devices. But then the thing came and it had one extra pin. I was like, you know, which pin do I clip off? I didn't want to do it just in case I shorted something out. Then I realised, oh, I could have just bought another one of these, gotten these 2 ports at the end of it, like just 2 standard ports. I already had a B type, you know, the square connector. I already had one of those to USB, and the power supply uses micro USB, which is, sorry, mini USB, which is already in the bag full of cables. So I needn't have bothered. However, what I should have done is got another one that had a metal plate with it, which this one does. I just took it off. And then just discard it. If I'd known I was going to do something with the USB 3, I probably would have just used that plate and then put the extra port on it with the cable I'm about to buy. There'd be no need for modification of this. I guess some things I didn't know at the time, and you know, whatever. We all make mistakes. Anyway, this hole seems to be ideal. Seems to fit in the port just nicely. There's very little room to get the screws in, but if that was the USB thing, USB 3, sorry, that would work and provide an extra port on the back. All things to consider. And just a quick little aside, yeah, this video is going on really long. It's now the 10th of November, and I'll get on to exactly what is going on. If I haven't already mentioned it, I may have done, but if I have, just, you know, scoot back and have another look. But yes, the CPU hasn't arrived, basically, blah blah. Anyway, I've got a few items. I decided to treat myself. Not that, you know, I don't buy things already, it's not that special, but anyway, since I'm building the new PC, and I have another thing I'm about to show you, I decided to get myself a new memory stick. I just got a nice SanDisk, what do they call it? Extreme, 16GB USB 3 stick. Why not? I've got USB 3 now, can't hurt to have a nice fast memory stick. Plus I had to throw one out because it was corrupting everything. Next, just a little cable. This is for the side of the PC case. Now, it took about 3 weeks to arrive from China. I know, I'm cheap. I only buy from China because, you know, this costs like £1.79 free post. Come on, can't do better than that. Since I'm not in a hurry due to certain things happening, yeah, it doesn't matter if it arrives late. And up next, again, is this. Now, what is it, you might ask? Let's just open it up. Try my best to do it one-handed, except I can't because I fail. Get off. Yep, it's a HDMI to mini display port, and this is in another video. But basically, I'll just bring it into the shot. It might be easier. Yes, people, I bought myself a Mac. If you want to hear more about this and how dirty I feel about buying it, then click the link below, or click this this annotation. Click the apple. Yeah, there's an annotation. First time I really used these. It'll take you to the video dedicated to this. Yep, I bought a Mac, and we'll leave it there for the time being. Yes, I know, PC Master Race, I betrayed you all, whatever. But this was bought with the intention, it's not a new one, it's a second-hand, to connect to a monitor. And of course I can't do that because these damn things, they don't have HDMI direct into them, do they? They have this doohickey, which is a Thunderbolt, but it's electrically compatible with mini DisplayPort, which is what we have right here. So, not that I need to check this, but I just want to, you know, connect it up because I like to plug things in. Giggity. Oh, tapping the microphone. Yep, fits nice. Okay, so, whoops. At some point we're going to test this, and we might do a little bit of a test just next. What do you think? And also today I got this thing through the post, a 4-port PCI card, just to expand on the ports in the PC. So whoosh, there we go. It's quite nice actually. It's got one on the inside, useful. I got this because, well, there's a few devices going to go in here, and even with that expansion plate that I have, it's probably not going to be enough for things I may potentially want to plug in the back, like pieces of equipment. So at least this safeguards against that. And also, The reason why I got it in PCI rather than PCI Express is because they decided on my motherboard, for whatever reason, even though it's a modern motherboard, to put a PCI port on it. So if I'm going to add like an expansion card, I'm going to put it in there because I don't want to waste any PCI Express ports for anything that might be more important. So yeah, that's going to go in there.